240 Hz and IPS levels of color accuracy. Didn't think this was possible back in 2016 when anything over 100 Hz was a TN panel. Today, we're looking at this 27-inch 240 Hz 1080p monitor from Dark Matter. Dark Matter is the gaming division of Monoprice, so if you like Monoprice, you might be interested in this. Can this monitor really balance out the specs on paper? Let's find out. This is a 27-inch monitor with a 1080p panel, which I believe is the size limit for gaming monitors with 1080p without stretching the pixels too much. The aesthetics of the monitor are pretty nice in my opinion. The bezels on the top and sides are fairly thin. There's no obtrusive logos or branding anywhere to be seen on the bottom bezel, which is great. The stand fits in line with the design tone of the monitor, and the stand is completely metal. The stand only tilts upwards or downwards, which is a bit lacking in terms of positional versatility. However, it does have support for VESA. The back of the monitor is where it gets a bit bolder in terms of design. However, this is the back, so you're never going to see it. Moving to the rear I/O, we have one DisplayPort 1.2, one HDMI 2.0, and one HDMI 1.4 port. Keep in mind, only HDMI 2 and DisplayPort 1.2 can support the 240 Hz refresh rate at 1080p. I do wish they would label which HDMI port is which on the back for convenience, but for reference, HDMI 2 is for HDMI 2.0 and HDMI 1 is for HDMI 1.4. And the monitor does come with an HDMI 2.0 cable, so you can put your refresh rate support worries aside. Also on the back of the monitor is menu control, which is done through a toggle switch. The toggle button is my preferred method for menu navigation on monitors as I find it the most intuitive, so I'm glad to see it here. The rest of the specs include HDR 400, a 1001 contrast ratio at an 8-bit color depth, and 99% coverage on the sRGB color gamut, and 72% on the NTSC color gamut. Now, let's get into what this panel is. It is technically not an IPS panel, it's an AHVA panel from AUO, which has similar properties to an IPS panel. And this is not a VA panel, even though you see VA in the name AHVA, so just keep that in mind. It has a 5 millisecond gray-to-gray response time that is listed on the panel specs, and as for the Monoprice/Dark Matter site, it is listed at 1 milliseconds while in overdrive mode, which I will have to test for any ghosting or artifacting. Overdrive has 4 settings from off, low, middle, and high. Middle and high create significant ghosting through the UFO test, with the high setting being the most noticeable. The low setting is much better and nearly indifferent from having overdrive off. Unfortunately, I don't have the tools to test the official grade-to-grade response times for each of these overdrive settings, but based on these findings, if you want the shortest response time without sacrificing too much color accuracy and motion precision, I would use the low overdrive setting. In terms of the rest of the panel quality, we can look at a few other traits. Gradient banding is almost non-existent. The monitor can differentiate most of the colors throughout the range, except for the brighter side of the range, they start to lack distinction. However, the black levels are pretty decent for a display that isn't OLED. Text also looks good on this monitor without casting deep shadows to emulate sharpness. And doing the backlight test, we do have some backlight bleed around the lower and upper corners. It's not noticeable during normal operation, but with a complete black screen, it can be noticed. And in terms of gaming, it's absolute butter. It is incredibly smooth. I don't think anyone would argue with that. I've been using a 144 Hz refresh rate monitor for a couple of years now, and the jump in refresh rate is certainly noticeable. My only stipulation is just getting AAA games to play at such a high of a refresh rate. In terms of colors, the monitor looks great. It's vibrant, has decent black levels like an IPS would. Is it color accurate enough for video and photo production? Well, it depends how serious you are with it. This is a gaming monitor first, with the benefits of color accuracy and a wide viewing angle. At $300, there's not much else I can ask for from this spec of monitor. I believe Monoprice and Dark Matter are putting out great products, and this is one of them. With the AHVA IPS-Like panel, 240 Hz refresh rate, 27-inch panel with a full metal stand, for $300, this is a solid contender in this space. Considering most monitors with similar specs share a price north of $300. If you want to see more videos like this one, consider checking out the rest of the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.